What up, Jaguars? Mr. Lar here with another instrument demonstration video. This is for a festive finale, Trumpet Part 2. Alright, so for Trumpet 2 players, make sure you're checking your key signature out. You'll notice that your key signature has one flat, which means all B's are going to be B flatted. That's first valve B flat. Also, your F's are first valve F's. There is the occasional F sharp though, like the first one pops in at measure 29. Make sure anytime you see an F sharp, that's second valve. There are also E flats that get added in later on too. E flats are second and third valve as opposed to regular E or E natural, which is 1 and 2. So here's E natural, E flat. You will see both of those. So make sure you're ready for E natural unless it has a flat next to it, okay? Beyond that, make sure that you are counting your rests carefully as you go through this. Make sure that you're not pointing your trumpet right at the microphone, okay? If your trumpet bell goes right into the mic, it may clip the mic, it may compress it. There may be like a compression thing on it that completely wipes out the sound. So make sure you're kind of playing off at an angle so your bell and your sound isn't going directly into the sound source, okay? Also, when you record, do not do what I'm about to do, which is play with the guide track through an external speaker. You have to record with the guide track. That's critical. You got to use the guide track that's in those instructions in that Google document that I shared in Canvas. But you want to make sure that you play with the guide track using earbuds or headphones, because we don't want to hear any of the extra instructions, click track, or rehearsal numbers, or the measure markers that they are saying during the recording, okay? I'm just doing this with an external speaker so you can hear how your part sounds with everything else, just for demonstration purposes only, okay? So give it your best try. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it, okay? I probably am going to make a few mistakes myself. Everybody is human, nobody's perfect. So if you're a perfectionist and you're going to get frustrated with making a few mistakes, try to just let that go. Give me like your best take out of 2 or 3. Like plan on doing 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5 takes where you play through the entire recording from the first clap where you sync up your audio and your video to the very last note. Even if you mess up in between or at the beginning, just keep going, okay? Then if you think you can play it better, do the whole thing again. And actually that's what professional recording musicians do. They give it 2 or 3 tries or even more until they get something that's pretty close to perfect. It may not be exactly perfect, but try and get it close, okay? If it's got a few mistakes, no big deal, all right? So I'm going to try and play along with the recording. You guys can follow along with me here. You can adjust the playback speed in that little gear setting at the bottom right-hand corner in the YouTube settings. So you can slow it down if you need to. Just make sure when you go to actually record, you use that guide track, and you can't mess with the speed. It's got to go from beginning to end, no stops, okay? Here we go.
All right, the first thing we're going to do is line up our audio and video with a clap. You'll hear one measure of metronome, you'll hear me count you in, and then we're going to clap together on beat 1. Make sure that your hands are very visible in the video and that you're clapping right in time. Here we go. And 1, 2, ready, and clap. All right, if you missed it, go ahead and restart the video and try again. Now let's get ready to perform. Make sure that your head, shoulders, and instrument are clearly visible. You're going to hear 1 measure of metronome, 2 measures of count off, and then we're in at the beginning of a festive finale. Here we go. And 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, play. Keep your instrument up, wave at the camera, you're all done.
All right, and that is it, okay? So hopefully you're able to follow along with that. I, by no means, played that perfectly at all. In fact, there was one particular spot I want to make sure you guys realize how to play correctly, because I definitely messed it up. At 29, listen how this part goes. I switched to the F sharp a little bit early, because there is an F sharp on beat 4, but I switched to it on beat 3 instead of beat 4. So it should sound like this at 29. And then there's a 2-bar rest. Here it is one more time. Take a listen. Okay, and then there's one other spot where I kind of flubbed a little bit of a note, and that was 48 and 49 leading into 50. Okay, it should just be this. 48 and 49, 2 measures before the measure marker 50 should sound like this. Excuse me. Then you have that 7 measure rest, okay? So hopefully that is helpful to you. Again, you're going to make mistakes. That's okay if there's a few wrong notes or here or there. If that was my recording, or if you did that as your recording, I would be totally fine with that. Wrong notes and all, okay? So give me your best shot. Good luck to you, and I'll catch you on the next one.